Good morning. This is the day the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. I am Pastor Marianne Kellenbach, pastor at Living Faith Church, which is located in the master plan community that is called Tradition in the city of Port St. Lucie, which is on the east coast of Florida. And today is Thursday, March the 24th in the year 2022. And we are 3/4 of the way almost in the week, the third week in the season of Lent. Remember, Lent doesn't count Sundays. When it does, it's counting. So the 40 days does not include Sundays. We are focusing on God as a verb this week. We are focusing God as a verb and all those verbs, especially the very first verb being that love, that unconditional love, and that mercy that comes along with that, and grace, and God as creator, God as redeemer, God as sustainer, that is God as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And we're talking about what that means for us and how that totally changes us. And now we're going to move into the ways in which, so we talked this week about the ways in which we are the verb, right? And how God is to flow through us to others. We are not to block anything. And more importantly, we are not to take credit for anything. And so our devotion yesterday, again, it comes from Franklin Clark Fry in his essay, his letter that was called The Source and the Flow, which was written in 1967. It was a stewardship article, which is so perfect, not only for any time, but particularly for this time that we're in this season of Lent. So I'm going to continue on with that, but I'm going to read the entire thing for you. It is all that simple. The Father loved so ardently that he gave his Son. The Son loved so lavishly that he gave strength, faith, health, eventually his own life blood. The Father and the Son love so persistently that together they give their spirit without ceasing into our hearts. All that we Christians are called upon to do, actually all we can do, is to be an open watercourse for the divine love. To be an open watercourse for the divine love. We do not create any part of it. It would be an arrogant illusion to think we did. We must not blockade it. If we did, we would be the adversaries of God and not God's children. We are simply to reflect it back to God and out to God's world. Our calling is to give it free flow. That means we are never generous. We never give any gifts. We are merely to be the channel for the good gifts which come in a steady stream from God. God expects us to take the vitality which God pours into our veins and the money which God has given to us in trust, and to see to it that they are spent for the things that are closest to God's heart. It is all that simple and imperative. Lord, keep the conduit that leads through me from being clogged. I absolutely love this part. Yesterday, I just put we are merely to be the channel. But notice what Pastor Fry writes before this. That means we are never generous. We never give any gifts. We are merely to be the channel for the good gifts which come in a steady stream from God. That is pretty radical, right? Because we always focus on our generosity. But this makes us look at it in an entirely different way. Are we the ones that are being generous, or are we just taking what our generous God has entrusted to us and allowing it to freely flow out to all? Are they our gifts to give, or were they even gifts to begin with? They were gifts. But we're not giving the gift. We are merely the conduit through which the gift is passed. And I love that. We are merely to be the channel for the good gifts, which come in a steady stream from God. Notice that piece, which I didn't include yesterday, but we're going to talk about today, which come from the steady stream. The steady stream. I want you to imagine these gifts that we are given from our generous Lord being a never-ending stream. The source is unknown, or we don't see the source. We feel the source. We know the source is there, but it is that unending stream of goodness that is given from God, or to repeat, it's the steady stream from God. It's a spigot that never runs dry. It is a river that never will cease from flowing. And that can be hard for us to even begin to understand, because we understand things to quote unquote run out. But when God gives, what God gives to us, these good gifts, is a never-ending stream. It will never dry up. The well will be full and overflowing forevermore. What a wonderful, wonderful metaphor for us to think about. And then God expects us to take the vitality which God pours into our veins, and the money which God has given to us in trust. And we are to spend it on the things that are closest to God's heart, the people that are closest to God's heart. Because the things that are closest to God's heart, we've already heard. Sustaining, redeeming, grace, love of neighbor, love of neighbor, love of all. That's what we're called to do. So when we think of this week and the meditations that we've had, we're called to be the verb that God is. We are called to be the giver. And the giving that we give is that which has been given to us. So we allow it to flow through us, and we are the channel of love and financial support to others. Take this with you today. Ponder it more. Listen to this a couple of times, and then go forth and be that conduit that you've been called to be. Blessings, and I will see you back here tomorrow.